Okay, let me call the April 16th, 2024 River Trail School District Board of Education meeting to order at 7 o'clock. As a reminder, please turn off or silence all electronic devices. Would any of the students like to come and help lead us with the pledge? Come on up.
All right, chipmunks, coming up over here. We're going to say the pledge together.
Go back. Sorry, go back.
Come on over here. There you go. Hang on.
And everybody else, please stand for the pledge.
Okay, turn on face the flag. Turn on to the flag. Ready?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very nice. Thank you. And Mrs. Johnson, could you please call roll?
Yes. Ms. Stewart?
Here.
Freeland? Here. Grimpy?
Here.
Margot?
Here.
Bianchini?
Here.
I am here. Ronstadt?
Here.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, first up is our consent agenda. Looking over the consent agenda, are there any items that a member would like to remove or further discuss, or have a question of clarification? Okay, and I would like to poll on the personnel report, the approval of Mr. Kyle Henkel for River Trail Middle School principal. Okay, so we'll entertain a motion in a second to approve the following consent agenda items: the Board of Education meeting minutes for March 19th, the Board of Education closed session meeting minutes from March 19th, our personnel report, hires excluding Kyle Henkel, our resignations, leave of absence, staff tenure and contract renewal, actual payrolls, bills and checks, travel report, curriculum purchase, and Spanish curriculum and staffing plan for the next school year.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Friedland, second by Dean Keeney. Please call roll.
Ms. Stewart?
Yes.
Freeland? Yes. Grimpy?
Yes.
Margot?
Yes.
Bianchini?
Yes.
I vote yes. And Ronstadt?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, I'd like to call for a motion in a second to approve the hiring of Kyle Henkel for the River Trails Middle School principal position. Motion.
Second.
Moved by Ronstadt, second by Camardo. Any comments or questions? Okay. Mrs. Johnson, could you please call roll when you are ready?
Who made?
That was a motion by Ronstadt, second by Camardo.
Thank you.
Nope.
Okay. I vote yes. Ms. Stewart?
Yes.
Ronstadt?
Yes.
Grimpy?
Yes.
Freeland? Yes. Bianchini?
Yes.
Margot?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, and I'd like to also like to congratulate all our tenured and renewals, and of course, Mr. Henkel. Good luck to you in your new position. Thank you. Okay, next up is our RTEA comments. Mr. Kastner, you have the floor.
Good evening. On behalf of the RTA Executive Committee and the entire union membership, I'd like to thank the Board of Education and the administration for an excellent ongoing working relationship. I'd also like to thank the board for approving the interactive flat panel purchase. What you've done is invested in your students' future of the district. The teachers are really going to turn the students into true global and digital citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next up is visitors' comments. At this time, I'd like to recognize any members of the audience who approach the board with their comment or question by completing a visitor comment card. Please do note that the board and administration typically does not respond, and if you wish for a response, please provide your name and number or email for a member of the board or administration to get back to you. Speakers are encouraged to limit their time for others to participate. A 3-minute time limit per speaker with an overall 60-minute maximum for visitors' comments. Majority of the board can vote to extend time as deemed appropriate per our current policy. Okay, hearing none, we'll move to board communications. Anybody have anything they would like to share? Go ahead.
There was muffins with munchkins over at Ethan on Friday morning, and the turnout was great. I was not able to attend, but because we're having fun and running around, and obviously enjoying time with parents and their other family members. So
Nice. Go ahead, please.
Had the pleasure this evening of having dinner with 2 of the RTA members, Jennifer Ritchie and Chris Collins. It was great just to meet them, to talk about schools, talk about the exciting construction going on in Euclid, talk about summer plans and the school countdown. We're very close, and Mr. Roxanne was there too. And last night it was a great event at Capanary's Ice Cream, which is supporting all of the schools in our district. So Indian Grove was last night, Euclid was last week maybe.
Yeah.
I just like the date, so save your date for April 25th is River Trails, and May 20th is Chipmunks Ice Cream Night, which got it extra cute.
I was at the Shrek Junior play at the middle school, which was phenomenal. That was a great time. And Mrs. Fisher didn't wave to me last time at Capanary's, but that's all right. I was there, you know. But no, it was a great time. It was a great event. In fact, Capanary's did a Facebook post today that so far Indian Grove is leading their coolest school contest. So that was nice to see. So just laying the gauntlet down there. Anybody else?
Yeah, I also got to continue with some of the teachers and Becky. It was really nice to get an inside perspective and drilled them as much as I could about trying to find stuff to complain about, and they were just really happy. Everything's running really smoothly, so thank you for all that. And yes, I also went to the Shrek Junior play. That was phenomenal. The creativity, the talent, the direction, the sound, all of that was just awesome.
Anybody else? Please do.
So I did have the opportunity to go with the River Trails Middle School Band over to the band festival at Hershey, and was just impressed by how our band performed, and just under the supervision of Mr. Smith was able to just excel in all facets of that program, and see the kids being very excited to see former classmates from River Trails and once again throw down the gauntlet to our surrounding districts as to how our music program competes. So it was a very interesting event, statewide event, and River Trails did very well. So it was exciting to be there.
Anybody else? Thanks for sharing, everybody. That was great. Next up is district recognition, and it is Prairie Trails Night. So, Statesman, you have the floor.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much, all of our chipmunks, for coming here tonight. I know you started off with the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone is going to come up. Our chipmunks are going to come over by Mrs. Thompson, and we're going to sing our chipmunk song that was written and composed by our very own Mrs. Thompson. So come on up.
We're climbing up so high, we're reaching towards the sky. Chipmunks, chipmunks,
we thought it would be a great time to have our board meeting here at Prairie Trails. Before our kids leave tonight, they're going to be doing a little coding demonstration. So actually at Prairie Trails, our kindergartners have STEM as a special 2 times a week, taught by our very own Mrs. Wagner, who's over here. Jane actually wears 2 hats in our building. So she's our STEM teacher as a special for our kindergartners, and then she's also our learning coach. So she gets the benefit of working with our staff as well as our students. From an early age, our students learn the fundamentals of coding. And why is it so important that they're learning this in kindergarten, even in preschool, you'll see. As you'll see from our demonstration, these devices help to develop critical thinking skills, improve computational thinking and problem-solving skills. Through hands-on learning activities, our students learn to sequence commands, they understand cause and effect, enhance creativity, and also really learn cooperative skills and how to work together, plan together, and work collaboratively. Many of these devices that you're going to see tonight were purchased in partnership with our technology department through various technology grants. And a lot of these we learned about at the IdeaCon conference, which many of our teachers from all 4 buildings attend every year. So we're going to invite you to come on up and watch our Ozobots, our IndieBots, and our Code and Go mice, and our students are going to demonstrate them for you. So we have 3 separate tables over here, so we're going to ask board members and everybody to come on up. And Mrs. Wagner is going to take it away for us. All right. Well, I don't think I'm as cute as that, but thank you. Right. Okay. So here we're going to start with updating our Prairie Trails progress for this school year. So this is an image that you're all probably very familiar with by now. My purpose for putting it up here is to again highlight the connection between the work that happens at the strategic level, then coming down to the buildings, and then to the teachers as well. As Dr. Beverly has communicated before, the district's strategic plan, it filters down to all of our buildings, and we were tasked with looking at collaboration, curriculum, and community. And those are the 3 buckets that we're going to be talking about tonight. Mr. Timmons said when he presented, this alignment is the difference between us being a district made up of schools and a school district. And that really kind of stuck with me because I really feel that is true. We are definitely a cohesive unit, and everything that we do builds on each other. So you're going to see all the work that we've done this year. And through our presentation tonight, you're going to see a lot of pictures. We felt that our story was really best told through a lot of visuals. And you'll see throughout our building and everything here is very visual. So take a look at our pictures, and here we go. So tonight as we share our progress at Prairie Trails, you're going to see the intersection of our goals. You're going to see the intersection of community, collaboration, and curriculum at the core of everything that we do here. As we were putting this presentation together, it became even more apparent how all these 3 areas intersect. We really felt like collaboration led right into curriculum, and those are the things that we do every single day here in our building. They all fall into these multiple buckets, and it was almost hard to kind of separate which bucket they fall into because they really do align so well and so nicely together. Since our inception 3 years ago, it's hard to believe that we're in our 3rd year here at Prairie Trails. We've worked tirelessly really to provide equitable experiences across the board for all of our learners. When we opened our doors, we were still in the midst of COVID. We were wearing masks, we were social distancing. We had families that had never really were able to even step foot in our building the first year and do all the fun things that you want to do when you bring your kids to kindergarten. So we felt they missed out on a lot of that. So we really spent a lot of time building those equitable experiences and collaboration across our building. We also, when we opened up, we had teachers coming together from 2 different buildings. So we had them coming from Euclid and Indian Grove. And when we first started, it was the Euclid teachers and the Indian Grove teachers. And we really worked hard on that collaboration piece to really make us all Prairie Trails teachers. And you're going to see now how we really all come together with our collective minds to really form one united school. That's the foundation of all of our learners. So this is where they start here, and this is where they end up going to Euclid and Indian Grove and River Trails. And so we really take that task very seriously, building that foundation for all these kids. Okay. So the next, Katie, can you go back one, please? the first progress tab that we're going to talk about is collaboration. And as you'll see under collaboration, there are these two other buckets, universal expectations and attendance. And those are the two things that we're going to talk about tonight to start. So to start the school year, Natalie and myself, we walked through all the life rules with all of our students. We talked about our building expectations. We talked about expectations in the lunchroom, in the playground, at recess, in the hallways, in the bathroom. We really felt that we needed to teach our kids how to learn. They're learning how to learn as they come in here and they're starting their foundation here. Setting clear expectations at the beginning of the school year helps students understand what's expected of them academically, socially, behaviorally. By framing it as learning how to learn, our teachers were really able to emphasize the importance of acquiring not just content knowledge, but also the skills necessary really to become lifelong learners. This is where they start here. So our goal is really to make them successful at Prairie Trails, but also beyond, what happens when they walk out of our doors. So you'll see that we've developed universal behavior expectations, so our staff and students are on the same page. We focus on our 3 life rules here at Prairie Trails: be safe, be kind, and be ready. We talk about all those areas in everything that we do. What's it like to be safe in the classroom, on the playground, in the lunchroom? How is it to be kind everywhere? What are some ways that you could show kindness? And then always be ready to learn. And those are a lot of the foundations that you'll see also at the other buildings as well. As you can see, some of the visuals up here, and you can see them in all around our building, in our hallways, in our bathrooms, everywhere. The visuals really serve as a powerful tool for communication, especially for our youngest learners who are not proficient readers yet. So when they see these signs, they know automatically what they mean, whether they're readers or not. And that we felt that was really important. So everybody's on that equitable playing field. Everyone has the same tools to be successful at school. Bright visuals help engage students in providing those visual cues, really empowering them to take on their own routines, and so they really learn to take ownership of their own learning. We don't have teachers having to tell them what to do all the time because they know what the expectations are, starting from the very beginning, day 1 here at Prairie Trails. They learn how to check their own behaviors and make positive choices on their own without, like I said, having teachers to verbalize things. We use our life rules daily, so every morning in our announcements, when I do announcements every morning, in addition to our Chipmunk song on Fridays, we also go over our life rules, reminding them what it looks like on the playground and how to be a good friend and what it looks like in the bathroom when we have kids locking the stalls and things like that. So, there's things that come up that we're able to kind of come back through our life rules and really talk about and engage our learners in. The next part of it is using common agendas, and I think it might actually be, here we go. So this is, we're talking about common agendas and our curriculum pacing guide, which Mrs. Wagner really helped us hone into a living, breathing document. It really has been the forefront of our collaboration and the marriage of our collaboration and curriculum all together. So we spent a good chunk of last year really planning and pacing out what our year looks like. So we had teachers coming from Euclid that did things one way, we had teachers coming from Indian Grove doing things another way. Not that one was better or the other, or right or wrong, they were just different. And we really felt that coming here, our students deserve those equitable common experiences. So whatever's happening in one classroom should be happening in the other classroom as well. Obviously we want teachers to have their own personal flair and their ways of teaching and doing things and giving them the autonomy to do that, but within a set framework. So we really spent a lot of time, and everything is on here paced out for the year. We've already started working, the last couple of weeks, working on next year's pacing and planning and really updating and what went well this year, what didn't go well, what do we have enough time with. So all of that kind of comes together in one living, breathing document. And in our building too, when you have a building full of 7 kindergarten homerooms this year without common plan time. So it's not like the other buildings where there's 3 or 4 teachers at a grade level and they have 4 different specials at the same time. We don't have that luxury. So we really use our Thursday mornings. It's such a coveted time for planning, preparation, and really looking at our professional development, spending a lot of time with the math planning this year, and we'll get into that a little bit later as well. The other big part of collaboration this year for me personally, and actually for our building, was including Natalie. So you'll never know how appreciative we are here at the building to have Natalie, especially as an assistant principal, starting out 2 years without it, just knowing the number of meetings and things like that, and just really having a sounding partner, a co-leader in my building that I could really work with to plan out, to see the long-range vision. So it's not just me working in a silo. So it's really having a partnership to really help with that planning and brainstorming. And so it really has been a valuable tool, and it really is felt throughout the building and everything that we do. So I do definitely appreciate that. And with that, I'm gonna invite Natalie up.
Hi everyone. A little shorter than you. Thanks for coming tonight. We have the cutest children in the district, so I'm so glad that we all got to spend some time together. I'm going to keep going with our collaboration goal in the lens of attendance. So this year at Prairie Trails, we focused a lot on tardies. We really want to stress the importance to families on why school is so important, even at the pre-K and kindergarten level. And so getting families into solid routines in the morning to get their children to school on time and every day, we want to see that long-term impact so they can get to school on time every day for the rest of their school career. They have a long way to go, but starting here is so important. And we're doing that through our curriculum night. We translated the information into 8 different languages. We're doing it through our monthly newsletter and parent-teacher conferences. We also look at tardies weekly with our meetings with our school psychologist and social worker to really hone in on students who might need some more support, families that might need more support. So showing them that we're their partners in this. What can we do to help get their child to school on time? So things we've done, you can maybe see an example up there of a morning routine. So asking families, hey, tell us what your morning routine looks like. We'll create the visual to help your child really understand what their routine is and get them going to school on time. We help connect them with community resources if needed. And because Prairie Trails is new, some families aren't aware that we have busing. And so if riding the bus will help get you to school on time, we want to help connect with that. And it's just been so great to collaborate and build that partnership with families to help improve our tardies and our attendance overall.
All right, I think now we're getting into curriculum. So you'll see, like we said, that marriage of curriculum and collaboration. And so the middle of last year, we had Euclid teachers were doing one thing to start the year, and Indian Grove teachers were doing something to start. We really spent a lot of time with Janine's help, meeting with our teachers, really looking at what do we want to do, how do we want to give that equitable base for our students to start. So we took this kindergarten boot camp, and basically what it really is giving all of our kindergartners that same initial front loading of letters, sounds, and really how to do school. So we spent the first 2.5 weeks planned out with activities and things like that, teaching students how to be students, teaching them how to use the scissors. You'd be surprised how many kindergartners come and have never held the scissors before. So teaching them how to use the scissors, how to use a glue stick, how to hold a pencil properly, in addition to giving them the baseline of going through all the 26 letters of the alphabet and just giving everyone that basic foundation to start. And we pulled our teachers afterwards, they said it was one of the best things that they've done. So really spending some time getting to know their kids and really engaging with just kindergarten foundation skills. So we spent a lot of time doing that. The other thing is our students have been doing Haggerty, which is really a program looking at phonemic awareness. Kindergarten has been doing it for years. And at Euclid and Indian Grove, we come here, we do it. This was the first year that we actually went ahead and also had our preschoolers started as well. So there's a preschool version of Haggerty, so it also gives them that foundation. So it's really a nice way to bridge that, learning from pre-K to kindergarten. We're so fortunate to have preschool here in our district, so we want to capitalize on those youngest learners and really be able to give them what they need to start.
All right, so taking a look at our curriculum, this year kindergarten has dove into the Bridges curriculum. And last year when new math curriculum was approved, Prairie Trails had something different than the 2 elementary schools. And that was one of the greatest curriculum decisions we could have made because Bridges is incredible. It is so developmentally appropriate for kindergarten where they are learning through games, They are learning through authentic calendar, and to see how excited students are for math is great, and we're just building that engagement so early. So that our team has jumped in with the help of Mrs. Wagner, kind of leading the ship on our curriculum implementation of it. Pre-K wasn't up for renewal with their curriculum, but they asked for a way to better meet the needs of all these students we have coming into pre-K, some with special needs and some typical tuition paying. So to find a curriculum that really helps fit the need of all of those students is something that they're just asking for, looking for, and we've been exploring a curriculum this year that we're making work for that. They do that by working together on Thursday mornings, by doing some online trainings for it, and then with the support of Janine again, just hats off, Janine and our NSSEO coach. So it's been great to see our building really just jump into all of the new curriculum and be so excited to help our students learn.
So here's just another example of collaboration that we've done. So with our Bridges curriculum, it's new and it's very robust and there's a lot to it. And so with our professional development time, we've really spent a lot of time planning together as an entire kindergarten team. So our special education teachers, our ML teachers, our interventionists also have all been part of this, which has been really a great use of our time for professional development and collaborating. You can see here, Bridges actually has two parts of it. So there's a number corner, which actually is really authentic, working with calendar and grids. They do it every single day. It's amazing. They hear the conversations, the vocabulary that happens in their talking. It's the left of the blog, right to the this. And it's amazing to really see that they're learning directions. They're learning, they start with number lines and counting by tens. It's really amazing to see that. But it's really robust and it's a lot of reading and planning for the teachers. And so we decided really to kind of look at that collaborative spirit, and we plan a month ahead of time looking at our units, which is over here on the right, and then the number corner planning on the left. And so each teacher takes a section and then presents out to the whole group, and now we have our plans ready for next year as well. And then we're able to kind of go back and say, did this work? Did it not work? So we're really having nice collaborative conversations that are happening. And you'll also notice the visuals there too in the picture. So we use visuals with our students, but our staff is using them as well. So it's just a nice way to have to collaborate and bring it all together. The last part of our C is community. So we're going to look at family events and partnerships, and then Natalie's going to talk quite a bit about the pre-K screening process, because that's a big chunk of our time here at Prairie Trails. So when we opened Prairie Trails, like I said, it was in the middle of COVID. We didn't have a lot of parents be able to come in to volunteer, all those things that we love to do in kindergarten. Last year we had some events, but they were geared more towards just parents, and we really saw that we didn't have a great turnout. And so this year we made that shift. So we went from parent-only events to more family-initiated and involved events. They've been great. So we've done some new things this year. We did a trunk or treat, which our families loved. They were asking already, can we do it again? Can we set up our own car next year? So it was a really nice community event that we had. We partnered with the Mount Prospect Police Department. We have Officer Silcom. In a couple weeks, we're actually having a car seat check here at Prairie Trails. So we've noticed some of our families coming to drop off, and they don't look like maybe they either need a car seat or we want to make sure that they're installed properly. So we're doing a partnering with the police department and having it here on May 18th in the morning. We've also collaborated with our own schools here. So we have our Raven leaders that come they support our kids after we did the Kids Heart Challenge for celebration. So we had the Raven leaders come. They love that. They're also going to be coming to help us with our field day in May. And then we also have our 5th grade buddies with Euclid and Indian Grove. So it's really nice to have those partnerships with our other schools, because that's where our kiddos eventually end up. Also next month we do our trip to Euclid and Indian Grove, so kids can see the schools that they're going to be going to next year. So that's super exciting. We also implemented a literacy night this year in partnership with the Mount Prospect Public Library. Kids were able to sign up for their own library cards. They actually left here with one, which was super exciting. So we're really working on a lot of that partnerships coming into the building and then outside of our building as well. We also we invite a lot of people just because we are Prairie Trails and, you know, we've won so many accolades, they want to come see it. And so Linda often schedules people to come through the building, they contact me, different boards and things like that, which is really important because I think we have a really neat thing here and we're very proud to be able to showcase it. So just another way that we're, you know, really honing in on that community feel here at Prairie Trails.
Another piece of our community is our pre-K screening process. And our pre-K screening process is a legal requirement that every school district has called Child Find, where any child 3 to 5 years old within our district, if they are suspected of having a disability, it's our responsibility to screen them. And so it's a big part of what pre-K does. And this is families' first experience with our district. So we want it to be the best impression possible. We want them to feel comfortable, we want them to have clarity with the process. And so this year we really worked hard on updating our website, simplifying things. It's a lot of information, and when families are just starting out, we don't want them to feel overwhelmed or scared away by that. So the team has worked very hard with that. We've aligned our tools in our screening process with ECDEC, our partner over at Euclid for pre-K, just so that we're on the same page with things. Sometimes students start here, end up there, or vice versa, and so we just want to make sure that we're aligned. We've also reached out to other school districts to see how they do their screening process, just to see, hey, does someone have a better way figured out so we can keep improving our process. We're also connected with a local collaborative called StarNet, and so that's other early childhood administrators where we can bounce ideas off of each other, ask questions, and really collaborate. And this year we have screened 34 children, so our pre-K team has been very busy. And so with that being said, last week was the Week of the Young Child, and I wanted to recognize our early childhood program as all of their work really exemplifies kind of our overarching district goals. So before I was in this role, I severely underestimated what pre-K was. It is very intense, and it is not just playing all day. Now that I'm here, they just work so hard. They collaborate nonstop for our youngest learners. Our Thursdays with no pre-K students here are reserved for our meetings, and by the end of the school year, we'll have had 80 IEP meetings. We collaborate with our NSSEO coaches to problem solve and support our students with the highest needs. And the photo of the clipboards is a data collection system for just one section of our pre-K. So our teacher assistants, our related service providers, our teachers, they're all working so hard together to really individualize learning and support growth with our students. With curriculum, our team's building their capacity to make sure our classroom environments are accessible for every student. So although the kids are 3 to 5 years old, we do have students developmentally ranging from a 9-month level to 5 years old, and they could all be in the same classroom in theory. So making sure that with our environment, they're ready for any student who walks in our door, because with the screening process, we have students starting every month. So we can't just go over the expectations once at the beginning of the year. We have to make sure that we're ready for any student at any time. So we've been working so hard on the clarity, the expectations, the environment piece. And with the community piece, some students are in our program for 3 years if they start through early intervention. So building that positive relationship with families is something our team works very hard for. It's their first experience with school ever, and so we don't want to mess that up. We want to make sure that it's positive, that we build trust with families, especially some families that we have to have really hard conversations with about possible delays or disabilities. And so our team has worked on kind of differentiating our IEP meeting style to help families feel like they're part of the process, that their concerns are heard, and that we are a team together. Since our pre-K program is a half day, some of our students go to outside therapies, and we often partner with them to make sure that we're kind of aligning our work to make sure that we're supporting our students. So all of this to say, we are so proud of and so thankful for what our pre-K team does every day at Prairie Trails.
board, we do thank you for supporting our youngest learners here at Prairie Trails. That's all we have tonight. I do want to thank Janine and Megan for coming tonight and helping out with our student part of the event tonight. So thank you for being here and for all you do. You are both so appreciated, so thank you. Any questions?
Anybody have any comments or questions? Don't let me be the only. Come on,
So Natalie, your comment on tardiness and something you're focusing on, that's similar to Karen's presentation, and she was really focused on absences. From the whole district perspective, maybe you just don't know, is tardiness a problem throughout and then it gets corrected after pre-K? Or that just wasn't a high focus and maybe it's something with the district's own schedule planning timeline that creates this problem for tardiness and not necessarily the students themselves or the families, whatever it may be.
I think we looked at targeting tardiness because it's a first school experience, and so trying to help families get their kids going in the morning, if this is the first time they've ever really had to do that, we wanted to partner with them on it. We also have a lot of kids in kindergarten getting really sick for the first time because they're around so many kids, and so it's a fine line of, oh, come to school if you're feeling a little sniffly, but they're getting sick a lot here because they're exposed to a lot of germs. So it's tough, especially coming off of COVID, and just making sure that families feel like they're making good decisions about their kids' health. So that's why tardies felt like a more realistic target for our building this year. And so I think at the end we'll see, did it make a difference, did it not, and kind of refocus and calibrate with the other buildings to see if other things they were doing worked and we could apply it and vice versa.
Okay. Anybody else? So I've got a couple. First off, having one kid in the district now, one that has gone through the district. The late starts have always been a pain from the parent side, but I will say through all of the presentations we've had, and you guys certainly nailed it as well, the Thursday late starts are clearly more valuable and more important to you than the hindrance to me as a parent that just apparently can't organize it well enough. So I give you guys credit, and again, as much of a pain as I may feel on Thursday morning, clearly it's more important for your collaboration and what you're doing with your Thursday morning compared to what I'm doing with my Thursday morning. So thank you for talking about how important that is. I'd like to know I would say probably the only downside to our organization is how do you handle the kids who have to go to Indian Grove, but their little buddy has to go to Euclid? How is that tackled?
Yeah, it's hard once, when they start here, they don't realize that they're going to two separate schools. Right around now is the time we start talking about, are you an Eagle? And so we kind of start talking about that. But we've really tried to bring, our Euclid and Indian Grove counterparts here to partner so they do know that there are two other schools that they're going to be going to. And we really try and kind of bridge that gap. We've talked about doing events afterwards, like once they're in first grade, kind of getting them back together to meet up. That would be something, to work with Karen and Bill on. So they do still have those foundational friendships that they've made, because they do end up back up at the middle school, so, yeah.
And then I've asked every principal the same thing, but you can both answer this. What is your, I know you haven't been here that long, but what's your proudest moment of your tenure here at Prairie Trails so far?
Gosh, there's so many. Really this year, just having Natalie as like I said, as a sounding board, really just seeing everything really coming together and working. Really looking at building these foundational skills, the collaboration really coming together, like I said, as Prairie Trails teachers. This is the first year I really feel that. It's really nice to see that, it's not a Euclid teacher anymore. We're Prairie Trails, and we're very proud of that because we worked really hard to build those collaborative relationships. It's hard. Change is hard for people, and when you've been in a building for 20 years and now you're here without your people, so we really wanted to make sure that these become your people, and I really feel they have.
no offense to the other schools, but the amount of growth that you can see at this age is just incredible, where if they come in our pre-K program starting at 3 and they leave here as 6-year-olds, it's such a transformation and it's amazing. We had an IEP meeting today with a student who came in at 3 and half of the team was crying because he met all of his goals, he's just doing so well, and so to just see that transformation and be with the same students for multiple years to see that growth, it's fantastic, and you're not going to see that at the other buildings. Prairie Trails, you can just see the growth. It's not just one moment, it's to see them across time, it's fantastic.
Great job, absolutely great job, thank you. Amy, are you gonna be okay when the first class of Chipmunks graduates 8th grade?
I will be there.
You're not, all right, good.
I will be there.
Okay, next up is business services. The construction timeline and update. Lyndall, you have the floor.
Are you putting it up, Chris?
Was not, but
Okay,
yes,
you don't
I
need
can.
That's okay. For the construction timeline, if you turn to page 4 of the document that's in your packet, starts with March to April. We did issue the Euclid solar panel RFP, and I think we had maybe 8 to 10 companies that showed up for our pre-bid meeting or mandatory meeting. So we're looking at getting some good proposals for that. We're also trying to get all of our microgrid component pricing together to present later. The drawings for the Indian Grove infrastructure are 95% complete and issued, and today we had a page turn meeting over at FGM where we went through 2 hours worth of drawings. It was fun. So it seems to be in real good shape. We are proposing a May 28th operations committee meeting to review all the information from the microgrid and the solar panels. We should have the cost estimate for the Indian Grove infrastructure based on those 95% complete drawings. And we want to then talk about the timeline for the bid. And then there is a proposal to change our June meeting to June 11th. We're looking at having a finance committee meeting with the budget and long-range forecast for our projects there. At the finance committee, followed by a board meeting where we would approve the microgrid and solar panel proposals or bids, RFPs. And we'd also approve the timeline. Currently, our timeline is to go out to bid in September, but we are looking at moving that up to maybe July or August.
Just as a side note, that bid timeline, we literally cut and paste from Euclid so that we had placeholders for all of those pieces, but now that we're getting closer to those dates, we're talking about, like, we'll really hone in on them and get them more into the calendar correctly. But there's no reason that we need to wait that long, so we're kind of in discussions right now about moving that up.
Thank you, this is very clear and concise and helps us all to understand next steps and all the involved parties, so thank you for doing this, thank you for putting the forethought into making it better for any growth.
Is it logistically possible to have the finance and operation committees like back to back, like 6 to 7 and then 7 to 8 on May 28th? Instead of having the finance committee just right before the board meeting?
It would not be possible to get all of the work done for the budget and the projections and all the construction.
Could it just be a sub-finance committee meeting just to only discuss the finance component that's going to be discussed during the operations committee portion?
So just the cost of the construction?
Yeah, whatever, I mean, just from the last operations meeting that I was able to attend, there's a large who said, all right, we'll just kick it to finance, and then that was a month later, so they could just flow right into it. address all at once?
It would be 2 weeks later, we could talk about the costs and how it fits in the budget, and how it fits in the overall forecast.
Could we slide the operations committee a week earlier and then move the finance committee a week before the next board meeting? Would that be workable?
I mean, if you just want to talk about the construction costs, yes.
Yes.
If the proposal here was to talk about next year's budget and a long-range forecast at the June 11th meeting.
Yeah, no, just to extract the construction cost conversation portion of it.
If you just want to
Just
do
like a
that, we
mini-
can do it all the same day. I'm not sure we have all of the information on the operations committee meeting ready for the 28th. I mean, if we moved it a week earlier. Plus, a week earlier is a graduation, 21st is graduation.
Louis, do you want
I'll-
to just
I'll
see,
ponder-
do you
I'll
want to
ponder.
see costs, or do you want to talk about how the financing long-range budget? Because
Just
usually,
so the operations and the finance committee are so closely tied together, you know, and a lot of the conversations that come out of operations, like, well, it sounds good operationally planning, but how does this impact finance? And so instead of waiting, 2 weeks, and then it gets briefly discussed at finance committee, and then immediately is voted and decided upon at the board meeting, all in kind of one setting, any, I won't call it fallout, but unanswered questions from the operations side can then immediately be addressed in that same evening from the finance committee side. Just so something, we don't have to have an answer right now, something that we could
Okay.
just think about. If that makes sense. Tell me if it doesn't.
yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, what I think I'm hearing is just time to process through both the operations and the financial piece before you have to vote on it at the board meeting.
Yes, exactly.
Well, and also I think from an operations committee standpoint, we look at it more from an appropriateness or feasibility, kind of operationally being able to get it done. But we try to not factor in the finances so much. I mean, of course, we're asking questions about specific, processes around, acquisition and bidding and purchasing, perhaps. But in terms of the total context of the budget or really diving into financial questions, it's a little separate, right?
Yeah, I mean, we won't look at like Wendell said, the long-term budget forecast at the operations committee meeting, but you'll see some numbers, you still see some numbers there, but not the nitty-gritty of the future. So we can look at the calendar and maybe propose
We could maybe
something.
do finance on May 4th. But it would
We'll
just be the
we'll look at the
construction, it would be
calendar
just the
and
construction.
I'll
part.
put something in my weekly update.
Yeah, and I think what you're kind of, if I can paraphrase a little bit, you're looking to help unify the context of the operational decisions with the financial,
Yes.
kind of long-term, or immediate and long-term implications.
Yes.
Any other comments or questions? Or I'm sorry, are you done?
Yes.
Any other comments or questions regarding the construction timeline and update? Okay, next up is the extra duty stipend proposal. This is an action item.
Okay, we have an extra duty committee that is made up of both union members and administrators. And every year we meet to see if the extra duty positions are meeting our needs. And so we did that this year. We've proposed some changes. It's basically a reallocation of some money to make it more appropriate for what we want to do at the schools. We'd like to have, you saw the music tonight here at this school. We'd like to have a stipend here for 2 music concerts here at this school. So we're recommending that both Euclid and Indian Grove give some money for that stipend out of they have some new club, a pot of new club money, so out of that, so to fund that stipend, which is $468. Euclid would give $182, and Indian Grove $286. And then at the middle school. Cross-country has become a really big sport at the middle school. It's increased the responsibilities and the time commitment, so we're recommending additional pay for that stipend. And then boys volleyball is now a conference sport, so we're recommending increasing that, the pay for that. It actually brings it up to what we're now paying for the stipend for the girls volleyball coach. And that additional money would be allocated out of the middle school's new club costs. So there's no actual increase to cost or anything, it's just a reallocation of money where the principals see it's more appropriate.
How are these paid out? Are they paid out hourly, or are these like fixed stipends? So somebody like takes on the music concert and they get X?
It's based on an hourly rate of $26. So the music concert is, we're estimating 18 hours for that. So 18 times 26 is the 468. All of the stipends are based on $26 per hour, but most of them are set for a certain amount of time and an actual dollar amount stipend.
Okay, so if it takes less time or more time, it's still the same?
It's still the same amount. The only ones that are different are maybe like a literacy night, or if there's somebody that's doing the scoreboard at the middle school, something like that. But most of them are a set stipend.
Any other
and
questions?
We're recommending that you approve this. And Dr. Magdalene and Mr. Kastner have reviewed it and are recommending approval.
All right, let me get a motion and a second to approve the extra duty stipend proposal as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Pfister, second by Bianchini. Any comments or questions? Okay, Mrs. Johnson, could you please call roll?
Ronstadt,
Yes.
Grimpy,
Yes.
Fisterver,
Yes.
I vote yes. Camardo,
Yes.
Freeland,
Yes.
Bianchini,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you, Linda. Next up is our committee report. First up is the Public Relations Committee. I am the chair. So we started, we kind of confirmed our May 19th Chicago Dogs game. The emails have started to go out. Hopefully the ticket sales have already started. That's always a great event, so hopefully that continues to be a great event. And then we also just started our initial discussions for basically our community outreach for next year. We're gonna have another meeting in July so that we can see, basically what we're looking at is to kind of schedule a ribbon cutting, kind of grand opening of Euclid, but we wanna see how we can mirror that with existing events, because back to school events kind of monopolize the calendar very quickly. So that's all kind of being worked on now, so we didn't wanna schedule anything that have to change it. So we've had initial conversation about what we're gonna do for next year, but we're gonna kind of punt that until we can meet in July so that we can finalize that, and then I will be happy to bring that to the board. Anything else that I missed? We got it? Okay, that brings us to NSSCO. Mr. Ronstadt, you are our representative, and we have our budget adoption. This is an action item.
Okay, so a lot of work going on at NSSEO. Dr. Schnorr continues to kind of solidify her team. A lot of some promotions internally, and hired a new director of finance to back up Gavin in his promotion. And having a lot of discussions with member districts about capital improvement finances, and figuring out in coordination with the 10-year life safety plan, working towards putting together some strategic objectives to do some much needed building maintenance. We do have some smaller construction projects in the next year and 2 years respectively to cover some of the more intensely needed upgrades to the facilities, and working with districts. I know one thing that they've added is that non-member school districts are going to get a I don't know if you call it a special assessment, but we're gonna raise the tuition $1,000 per child to help go towards the capital fund. So it's a start, you know, and we are looking at having to spend some more money over there to, you know, remediate those facilities, but we wanna, you know, do so in a very well-planned, coordinated method with our finance partners and member districts. We also want to, you know, kind of not remind everybody, but, you know, it's expensive. You know, the special education is expensive, facilities are expensive, and, you know, the costs are going up, but, you know, from a member district benefit, and I calculated out on our, you know, by being a member of NSSEO, we basically get a member tuition, which is 30% lower than the non-member tuition. So that makes up to almost $400,000 a year in savings for River Trails. The good news about that is that savings has been accumulating for many years. The bad news is that there's definitely some need for some facilities improvements here. So while we've enjoyed that discount for a long time, there is, you know, some increases that are coming to, you know, help maintain those facilities and in an equitable fashion, and make sure that, you know, all those students in our district, which includes those students that go to NSSEO, are also in appropriate facilities. Along with the budget, there's a fair amount of, you know, refining going on there, and just, I know there's a lot of looking at the programs between Minor and Timber Ridge, because they're seeing a lot of needs that are coming in that are kind of between the two schools, where Timber Ridge is more focused on behavioral and Minor more focused on developmental disabilities. They're seeing a lot of, you know, either more complicated, you know, students or kids that have needs in both categories. So definitely, you know, reviewing those programs and helping to change. And also because it's such a, you know, a relatively small population relative to our districts as a whole, you know, a swing in a certain type of student or a cluster can really change facility needs, teaching needs, and things like that. And then, yeah, we're continuing to plan to do a strategic planning in the fall, and, you know, that's probably those are the biggest things. But I think the budget and what you're seeing here is just continued refinement and, you know, trying to be more accurate and more nimble. You know, I think the other thing that is different about NSSEO, that's different from a typical school district, is that, you know, River Trails gets 10 new students, they don't get any more money. Okay? NSSEO gets 10 new students, they get tuition. So there's a responsiveness to that around both hiring and, you know, all the associated costs that go along with that. And, you know, there's definitely some dynamic adjustments that they can be making on a little bit quicker basis. And that's part of what, you know, you see amended budgets coming through that are just, we're trying to respond to that a little bit better. But it's not, you know, you really, when we're approving budgets here, you know, I've come to understand that it's more, we're approving kind of the tuition rate, if you will. Because again, if you have another student that comes in, or you know, a 3-year-old that comes in and through their assessment belongs there, they're very quickly going to move to that, you know, to the NSSEO schools. So that's the update. And then,
I have a question.
sure.
It used to be that we, in this budget, it would list who the member districts are
Yeah.
and who the non-members are. I don't see that anymore in here. So is that something you can have them incorporate going forward?
By students or just by?
Well, it used to be District 25, so many students,
Okay.
okay? And that's gone too. I mean,
Okay.
I would like to know how many students District 25 is sending, 23 is sending, 21. Who are the member districts and how many students are they sending?
Yeah, I'd even like to get a little further and understand, you know, percentages of students and things of that nature.
They used to do that
Okay,
too.
they used to do that. Okay. So I'm working on a lot of things here, but.
This was a wealth of information.
Yeah.
And now it's just only District 26, and I look at it and say, well, how are we compared to the other districts? So, just a thought.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. I can tell you that I don't, honestly, I don't know if it's a policy or just a target, but NSSEO plans to keep the non-member attendance at less than 30%. And then we also, for the member districts, we make sure that we have capacity to take students.
Correct.
So they always get priority, the member district
Mm-hmm.
students. But at the same time, because the member districts pay more,
Mhm.
there's a, that's very helpful when it comes from a
Right.
finance perspective, right?
Right.
So it's helping to offset some of our costs, and, again, that requires the staff and the planning. But that's a good question, I'll get.
I have no idea who the non-member districts are.
Well, I can tell you that fluctuates, but it's all over the place.
Sure,
We
I
have
realize,
kids from-
that once this comes out,
Yeah.
it can change between this year and next year,
Yeah.
but it would be nice to have, I would like to.
Okay.
We used to get it.
Okay. I can ask.
Okay. You could even say, long-standing member, remembers when.
They'll know who you are.
Oh.
All right, let's get a motion and a second to accept the NSSEO 2023-2024 amended budget and the 2024-2025 budget as presented.
Moved.
Moved by Camardo, second by Grimby. Gotta get in eventually. Does anybody have any comments or questions before we bring this to vote?
I don't have a question, but I do want to say I got to spend my first day at Sunrise yesterday, and I know this has nothing to do with anything except that it's amazing that NSSEO has this property that all of the member districts are allowed to use, and it was absolutely phenomenal. The staff is amazing, and it was literally like the best field trip I think I've ever been on, and all of our students were wow. So thank you for building that into this budget as well.
Lots of benefits from it.
I'll just say, as a longtime board member, we used to go to Sunrise for board self-evaluation.
Other boards
Nice
still do.
things done.
Yeah, other boards do, sure. Louis, comment or question? You might say.
Oh, I was ready to vote yes.
Oh, that was great, that's fine. I didn't want to cut you off or miss you or anything. Any comments or questions on this side? Okay, Mrs. Johnson, could you please call roll?
Sure. Bianchini,
Yes.
Friedland,
Yes.
Pfisterer,
Yes.
I vote yes. Grimby,
Yes.
Ronstadt,
Yes.
Camardo,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, next up is the President's Report. We got some upcoming events coming up here. At the middle school, spring music concert on May 1st at around 7 o'clock. Euclid's got math family night on April 17th at 6:45. They also have 4th and 5th grade music sharing spring concert, May 2nd. Indian Grove has 1st and 2nd grade music sharing, April 18th at 6:15. Important board meeting dates. Our next board meeting and our reorganization meeting will be May 7th at 7 p.m. at the middle school. And then district news, we've got Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week, May 6th through the 10th. Our end of the year celebration will be at 4:30 at Rob Roy Country Club on May 14th. Please make sure that you have RSVP to Patty, or that's in that doc. And then we've got 8th grade graduation at Hersey High School at 7 p.m. May 21st. And thank you to Mr. Ronstadt for, he's going to give a speech on behalf of the board. So, no pressure.
Wait, I'm the only one doing that?
It's the 50-point PowerPoint presentation. If you can occupy 20 to 30 minutes, that'd be great. Laser pointers, the works.
Got it. Fireworks?
That'd be awesome. I did send an email out to the board, just want to follow up on that. At our reorganization meeting, which will be in May, we're also going to look at committee assignments. Thanks to the board who is pretty happy with their current assignments. So I don't really have any changes. This is just kind of your last speak now or you're stuck in this committee again. So just, let me know if you wanna change anything, anybody?
So the only thing that I'm a little bit nervous about with the wellness committee is that they really hold their meetings directly after school. And I feel like I'm doing it a disservice by, even though it's only held 1 to 2 times a year, I feel like I'm doing a disservice by not being able to be there and represent the board. So if there is any possibility of an individual who would like to take that up, and I'd be happy to switch.
Would wellness and benefits, that they need?
So wellness is like for everybody, it's for both the students and, I think even community, so students, community, and teachers, but the benefits is specifically focused on the benefits that are offered to our employees. So that's the differentiation.
I'd be happy to help.
I would do, yeah, either way.
Thank you.
Okay, so you're the alternate. We can make you the rep, and we can make Ms. Pinkini the alternate, if that's okay. And then what would you be willing to trade with Janine about, anything here? Or is there, or do you, I guess you don't have to. 'Cause
Or I'm happy to stay on as the alternate, I just don't wanna.
I think it's a fair comment. I understand. You guys okay with that?
Or if Janine, you wanna stay on as the alternate, whatever, you know.
Would anybody like to be the IASB delegate? I'm happy to do it again, it's kind of a neat experience. If you haven't done it before, it's on the Saturday, at the conference. Don't everybody speak at once, I can only hear one person at a time.
You never sold it.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Thank you, Bill, for doing that again.
No, I'll do it again, I do think that it is something that, you know, everybody should at least experience once. And it does, and maybe yours will be good.
I have experienced it twice. No.
Could you possibly share what that experience looks like?
Well, I mean, you know, we go over, yeah, you just volunteer. I mean, what makes it seem monotonous is we go over how we're gonna vote as a district. So when I go in, if people wanna try to discuss their side of the debate of whatever the referendum may be, I already know how I'm gonna vote, that's how we already discussed it. So they could come up with the most compelling argument, and I may agree wholeheartedly with them, but I already have my marching orders. So it kind of just seems like a waste to go through that, but that's a different discussion for a different committee or board. That's about it.
It's an
I mean-
interesting experience in democracy in action.
Very much so, yeah.
So it is kind of a cool thing to do
Yes, it is.
once or twice.
Again, I'm happy to do it this year, but then I'm definitely gonna pull the Donna, and that's my 2 years, so somebody else can have it next year, so, so I don't wanna spend too much time on this, but I'm willing to give it up if somebody wants it, if not, I'll do it one more year.
I'm willing to do it, or if you'd like me to take the baton the following year, that's up to you.
How about if I make you my alternate this year? And then it's yours next year.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right, and then, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go backwards.
Yep.
I just had a thought here. I really learned a lot about benefits in the past couple of years here with an SSEO, and was wondering if I can I'd like to join Donna if we can, and collaborate on that.
What is it? Nope, not right now. Okay, I'll be the alternate. You can make an alternate.
Sure.
You can.
Well, can both of us
It's not that you,
participate?
it's not that you get to have a whole, it's not like you get a whole lot to say in this. You're just sitting there listening to what they are coming up with and report it back to the board.
Yeah. I get to contribute. You get to contribute.
No. Linda, because the business office basically runs it and presents. If you think you're gonna go in there and change things, that's not what it's there for. We are there as a liaison to listen and bring it back to the board.
And partially
Am I
that's.
right on that, Linda?
Yes, I mean, there's, you know, you can comment on it and ask questions, and usually most of the negotiations happens during, I mean, if we're going to change our benefit plans, that typically happens during a negotiation, though there is ability to do it outside of the negotiations. A lot of what we do is go over, you know, what some of the new benefits a cooperative is offering us, which we don't have a lot of choice on that. They manage that part. We do the wellness stipend, we have some wellness events. We work on communication to our employees to make sure they know what all we're offering.
All right, well, how about this? I would be
But-
interested in just attending and learning more about the benefits.
But you do learn a lot about the benefits if you attend.
Yeah, because
and-
we did make some changes at an SSEO that saved both the board and the staff a fair amount of money and is kind of making everybody happy. I want to educate myself about our benefits packages to see if there's opportunities to do similar things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, yes, we've done some similar kinds of things too.
Right,
The last
right.
negotiations, we changed our HMO to only the Blue Advantage HMO.
Right.
We changed our PPO to health savings account PPO.
I just want to
Changed
nerd
some
out
of
on
the
some
deductibles, yeah,
benefits,
but it's a great place to learn about benefits, because we get the EBC comes and talks to us.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good place.
Do you mind having Robert be the rep?
No,
Okay. We can make you an alternate.
okay. I'm on Wednesdays. Wednesday, 4:00.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. Game on.
The last thing I just wanted to cover, we also I discussed this a couple meetings and had an opportunity to let anybody volunteer for board president, vice president, or secretary. No comers for that either, which is fine. I also talked to both Mrs. Friedland and Mrs. Johnson. They're both interested in retaining their roles, as am I. So we will not see any changes in our executive committee. Just want to make sure everybody's aware. Thanks.
But we still vote.
Oh, yeah, we will absolutely still vote. Yep, our reorganization meeting will still take place as it normally does. That's the rules that we have. So you're not gonna break them. Just hope you don't surprise us.
Thank you for retaining those positions for all of
Oh,
you.
we didn't vote on it yet.
Positive thoughts coming your way.
Okay, that's it for me. So superintendent's report is next on the agenda.
Okay, I am going to start off with the consolidated district plan. And if you open up the presentation in the board book, you'll see a lot of pages of words. So I'm gonna summarize from the memo. Basically, the consolidated plan was intended for districts to have all of their members collaborate on any of the grants that they want opened up throughout the course of the year. It forces us to come together and talk about like cross departments. So Christy and I used to work on this a lot together when I was in the special ed realm, and now Carrie and Christy really take the lead on putting all of this together. But it really forces districts that intend to submit an application to collaborate. And so this is step one in getting this plan approved before any of the other grants will open. So obviously we have a lot of grants, title grants, IDEA grants. So we don't need to bring this to you every year, but it's one of those that doesn't take a lot of time for me to present, and it is easily forgotten. So that is one component of the grant, is to put the date that the board approved it. So this is really just a reminder that we are going to move forward with our grants. The full plan is in your board book. If you are aware our timeline, for kind of moving through this in the next couple of months. Any questions? Yeah?
I just want to say, as soon as I started reading it, I was like, oh, I remember this from last year. This is a lot of words. Oh, and then I realized how much work Christy and you put in it last year, and Carrie's putting in it this year. So, yeah, thank you for doing it. I know
Yeah, I
we
mean-
have to do it, but yeah, there's a lot in there, and it's
Once you get
very
it
informative.
written once, I think the
Yeah.
first year that it's a lot.
Yeah.
It really stems from the strategic plan, so I
Mhm.
anticipate next strategic plan would really kind of cause it to be more of a rewrite. But this is the key to all of the rest of our grants.
Thanks for bringing it.
And I do thank you for including it. It does help us to better understand, just the effort that goes into all of this. So, we just show up at meetings and say, you approve us applying for this grant. We don't see everything that goes into it all the time, so.
Okay, next piece in the board book is looking at board meetings for the upcoming year. So I put a proposal out on the table to move our meetings from the third Tuesday to the second Tuesday, partly because the third Tuesday runs into most holiday breaks, Thanksgiving break, winter break, spring break. Things are a little hectic during those weeks, and we have kind of shifted from, I think we were at a 2-4. So just wanted to put that out on the table to shift those up a little bit. And wanted to see what your thoughts were on that.
So these dates in pink are the third Tuesday currently.
Oh.
Right? July 16th is the third.
Wait. What's happening? It happened.
August 20th is also the third.
Oh, yeah, it is. So my proposal, though.
I just wanted to make sure we're on the
Yes,
same
thank
page.
you.
Okay. That's fine with me.
We'll approve the calendar at the next meeting. But, so this is really just a proposal.
Any thoughts? Do you guys have a desire either way?
Second
I felt-
Tuesday sounds good to me.
I started thinking about this in November only because that week leading into Triple I was very hectic with having a board meeting and that. And, spring break week is a little nuts and, all of those weeks, so.
Did it change,
Yeah, sorry.
did altering the date, because I didn't go back and check last year's, but did it change any of the order of where things were placed on the agenda? Do we have to bump anything up because of that second week or push anything back?
Well, so we usually look at things a few months ahead anyways, and, depending on when the budget's presented, or if we need a 30-day posting or a hearing, we kind of adjust accordingly anyways. I think the one topic we talked about was just the financials, getting those and making sure those reports came in, but Lyndall felt like they need to be done anyways, so, right?
Yeah, it's pretty automated. All we're waiting for is 214, and we've been pushing them to get their reports in sooner, so I'm hoping that will be happening. And if not, we may just be missing a few revenues for that month that goes into the next month.
Okay, my comment is, we used to do the first and the third Tuesday of the month. And we would only have one meeting during the month, during the Christmas holiday and summer, or December and summer. And so then we decided to do one board meeting and one committee of the whole meeting. And so now what I'm seeing here is we're just doing one meeting a month now?
I think so, but Bill and I also talked about this. I feel like we are utilizing our committee meetings more frequently or better utilizing them. So while we have one full board meeting a month with the facilities and things, sometimes we're having 2 or 3 meetings with the committees. So that's where I feel like a lot of the work is happening in those committee meetings, and then either brought for action or discussion here. And that's kind of how I see that balancing out a little bit.
Okay, so what I would suggest then is that we don't just approve this at the next meeting. We make sure, excuse me, that it goes out in newsletters to the community and the parents, because it's been the first and the third Tuesday of the month for as long as I've been on the board, and I've been on the board 36 years.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So the community, all of a sudden, the second Tuesday, they're gonna show up. Yeah, and not that we get a lot of people.
I was gonna say, you should ask the gentleman who's. Gene.
Are you available?
Yeah, are you available the second Tuesday?
But you get the idea, because there might be somebody out there who watches, who knows,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah. I mean, we do try to spiral the communication in our
Right.
newsletters and all of
Right.
that, so we will make sure.
No, big change. It's only one a month, and it's now the second Tuesday of the month. Okay.
Well, and then that sends a question for Chris. So when we do our committee meetings, I know we post all of our stuff for live stream and everything for these meetings, but when we do our committee meetings, we don't do that. Do we post notes anywhere for our committee meetings? The only reason, do we keep them up on our, so we just post them in the same place?
What do you mean by notes?
So,
Minutes?
yeah,
Something like
like,
that?
sorry, all of our minutes, not
Yeah.
notes,
So the
sorry. I
minutes-
can't even think of words.
They are posted, but however, if you don't have, like a PR committee meets twice a year, so their minutes don't show up till another 6 months.
Right, because we have to approve them before they can get posted.
Right. So it's not out there.
Okay.
What do you think?
Because
But
because
it's also not-
nobody's really seeing, I feel like sometimes, with just having one meeting a month, besides for your updates, unless people are really, really digging into those, they're not seeing the behind the works work that's taking place in all of our committee meetings, and we can't even really post them because of the fact that we don't approve them until the next meeting, if that makes sense. So even when we talk about it, like here, I feel like sometimes it's just such a brief.
No, but like
snippet.
for example, my committee update tonight, there was more expressed in my summary than that's in our notes.
Right.
So as long as people are, if they're either attending or paying attention or watching our board meetings, they're getting committee updates, probably more detailed than they're gonna get in the notes anyway.
Yeah, and, my proposal is not to eliminate meetings, because I inherited basically a schedule of one meeting a month. I think we had
Yeah, Nancy.
1 month of 2 meetings, so it's really, my proposal is just shifting the timing of the meeting in the month.
Really, I just wish people would look at the information more. That's all, but, you know, give universal water.
Are we good on that? Can I move on? Just have a couple other little things. In the Friday weekly update, I had written about the school board governance application and added the link, so, I don't know it well enough to discuss it in detail tonight, but that is something that I will be looking at. The application is open. It asks a lot of questions about, board training, but also if we have a strategic plan, if we, kind of follow all the rules of board governance. And so, I would like to apply for that, and that is a recognition then that is issued in the fall, at the fall IASB
North Cook did.
North Cook dinner. Any questions about that?
Just a comment, I think it's very valiant of you to step forward to do this, but this is a board thing. The board, I have done this, been on the board, I have done the application for the board twice, and when I was board president. It's the board president who does it. I've already stepped forward and said that I would do this one. I've already started working on it at home. But it's not your job, Jody, to do this. It's not your admin team's job to do this. I would come to, like Patty, and say, where's the, where do we have parked on the internet the handbook
Where can you
or
find the
the new
information?
member handbook for board members?
Okay.
But this is not your job because this takes time. And that's why I've already started working on it.
Okay, so, maybe a planning meeting? I'd be
Sure.
happy to jumpstart you and Bill,
Well,
and anyone else that wants to help.
it's basically just going through all of the last 2 years,
Mhm.
and picking, going through board meetings, going through committee meetings, and similar to your consolidated district plan, pulling
They
what
want
was
evidence,
approved
right?
on,
Pieces
what
of
was said, who
Yeah.
worked on it, and dumping it, or you're pasting it into the 250 words.
Well, and I do wanna say, like, I think that we got some faulty information, because when we were talking about it with some other, it was somebody at one of the North Cook dinners, it was supposed to be focused on individual training as well, and we weren't necessarily all able to meet those requirements. But talking with other district leadership, it seems like that is not the bulk
Correct.
of, right.
Right.
So I think
Right.
the initial part was that we had gotten faulty information, and that was when Frank was still president. Because we only do this,
Every other.
every other year.
Right.
So I apologize for that, because I was part of looking into that,
Oh.
and that was the information
Oh,
that was given
okay.
to me.
And the thing is, for only one, but you have to provide on the application, who is the delegate for IASB? We have one every year, and I always put in the delegate and the alternate. Who attends the North Cook dinners? You have to have at least 2 people, or at least, I think maybe it was 1 or 2 people who attend it. So it doesn't have to be religiously the same person, but that's why I always go, so we have at least one person who attends those so that we can apply for that award. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be one month me, next month Robert, or et cetera. The hardest part is, you can only have 250 words, and I like to talk.
No.
So cutting it down, you just kind of type and keep going, and then you're throwing things out back and forth. So yes, I've already started it. I have a pile at my desk. And I've noticed while I was doing it, there's Ben Finfer's name is still all over our internet. I will give you the areas. I've been making notes as I'm going through. Yeah,
All right, so
so there you go.
are we, adding Bill to this mix, or are you, going to
I'll
work on a solo?
I'll just do it.
Okay, all right.
Give it to Bill to look at.
Good. The next, and this is really a small detail, but it's come up, you're probably going to see more frequent, typically you all receive a list of materials like from the tech department that is gonna be a destruction list that we're disposing of. So we've had some conversations in cabinet just about the policy. Not surprised, the policy is vague because that's how policies are written, but really trying to figure out what goes on the list and what doesn't. As we are cleaning out Euclid Elementary, as we are going to be cleaning out Indian Grove Elementary, what things need to be on that list to be approved by you guys. So you'll have more lists to approve, and it basically says that anything having a monetary value, basically excluding trash or consumables, should be on the list. So what is a monetary value? That's what we're working on. So you'll see more of these lists coming through, and we talked even as early as maybe next month, so we can get that stuff approved and purged before construction starts at Euclid. So just something new, different that's coming.
Could we, and obviously I would want the rest of the board to chime in on this, but could we make a minimum value that something has to be, the value has to be this much money before it comes to the board? If it's something that would be lower than that, it doesn't have to come to us?
Well, we do have a policy meeting next month. Huh.
I mean, if these assets are going to depreciate here,
Pardon?
they're depreciate assets.
It's vague, it doesn't say. You
Yeah,
mean like
yes, we do.
the
We-
cost at the front, like when you buy it, or the
Well,
cost
it's
now?
an accounting question.
We kind of depreciate assets. Since we don't pay taxes, it doesn't really count against that, but we have a life. We keep track of our fixed assets and know what their life is and whether or not they're at the end of it.
Is there anything in the state policy? I mean, we're reviewing it on a 5-year, like,
And
rolling
it's a-
basis, so I
yeah.
don't know if they,
The other thing, it is in our audit too, when you, there's a whole, all our balance sheet, what our capital is, what's been depreciated, what's left.
The reason I ask that is because anything of real value would be a fixed asset, right?
Correct.
So anything that falls out of that category, to me, is like the unmanaged category, like, we don't care if a box of, like, I don't care about a pair of scissors, I care about a computer that's 2 years old.
Our capital threshold is $5,000 right now.
Okay, so not a computer.
But we do have another category that goes from 500 to 5,000, where we put
That
put a lot
would
of
be
our
more of the
computers.
category, my threshold of that 500,
Yeah.
but you already capture that information, and you depreciate, if you're depreciating the asset out,
Mhm.
then
We do.
at some point, it's, the asset value isn't worth anything.
Right.
I mean, it's still got some value, but it's not like something we need to track.
Yeah. I mean, the policy says that, of course, the superintendent can unilaterally dispose of property of a diminutive value. It's so vague, so.
Well, in that example, if you take a $5,000 asset and you depreciate it by 20% over 5 years, it's worth nothing after 5 years, and at that point, it's a diminished value asset. But we don't define that value, that's the point. Let's get down in the weeds.
Yeah, but again, you'll see new lists coming through, so that's just a preview there. And giving you the policy and a little bit of background helps answer some questions maybe after you see those lists. And that's all I have.
Okay, next up, future topics. Does anybody have something for future consideration? So I do have one, and this is kind of based off of some of my collaboration that I've had with other districts. We're one of the few districts that does our committee assignments every year. That because your boards don't necessarily change because it's not an election year, these off years like now kind of seems fruitless or pointless to change committees, especially with, in our case, with so much stuff going on, with capital projects. I would just like to have the board consider changing the policy to our committee assignments, and this would not include the executive committee, but I would include the committee assignments to be a 2-year term. And just wonder, because again, since there's no election this year, our board should stay the same unless somebody decides to resign. However, that could change next year because some of us are up for re-election. So this would not take place now. This would go to committee, or I'm sorry, go to policy. They would review the policy, change the policy if we all agree to it. Then it would go into effect next year for our reassignment, which would then be in line with our election years.
Okay, so you need a consensus of
Correct.
whether you wanted to make this a future topic.
Unless anybody would have any questions about it, but that is what my future topic is.
I'd be interested.
No.
Okay?
And we're okay with the way it is. I think we just kind of checkpointed on it today. And we didn't make a lot of changes, but we did make a few minor adjustments.
is, if you wanna stay on, you can stay on for 2, 3, 4 years, but it's one and done.
Since it's my future topic, I'll vote yes.
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 Okay, so the yeses are 4, noes are 3, so then this will then be punted to the policy committee.
Okay, okay. Sorry, I must count.
It's okay.
Okay, no, I get it.
Okay, any other future topics for consideration? Okay, then let me entertain a motion in a second to go into closed session for the purpose of personnel, student, and litigation at 8:52.
So moved.
Friedland and Bianchini.
Second.
Grimpy?
Yes.
Just, no, sorry. Grimpy, Pfisterer,
Yes.
Camardo,
Yes.
Friedland,
Yes.
Ronstadt,
Yes.
I vote yes, and Bianchini.
Yes.
All right, we'll take a short break, we'll go into closed session at 9 o'clock.
Okay, so what's?
We're gonna, just so we're all on the same page, I'll go back in. We're gonna move her goals to the next meeting because it'll be included with her whole contract.
Got it,
It'll be one document, we'll approve one, so we won't approve that now.
okay.
Can I get a motion and a second to approve the settlement of Parkview Montessori, $40,000 to be covered by insurance and $10,000 to be covered by the district? Second.
Okay,
Moved by Camardo, second by Ronstadt.
okay.
Any
Okay.
comments or questions before we call roll? Great. Mrs. Johnson, could you call the roll?
Okay, Camardo,
Wait, sorry, but did we not read it to open session?
We did.
I missed it. Sorry, yes.
and you had nodded forward and you wrote.
No, it's not.
Grimpy,
Yes.
I vote yes, Ronstadt,
Yes.
Pfisterer,
Yes.
Friedland,
Yes.
Bianchini,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, let me entertain a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting at 9:53.
Motion.
Second.
53.
Motion by Ronstadt, second by Friedland.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
I vote yes, Camardo,
Yes.
Pfisterer,
Yes.
Grimpy,
Yes.
Bianchini,
Yes.
Ronstadt,
Yes.
Friedland. Yes. Okay, motion carried.
All right, our next meeting is on May 7th, that is our reorganization meeting. Be there, be square.